It was the 1990s, a big show in a small town off I-75 in Georgia. They were called the biggest cocks in the henhouse. But things have changed since then. It's been 30 years, and they finally found a home here, like everyone else, doing a podcast. It's Erica and Mark, the phone call podcast thing.
Ring.
Hello.
Ring.
Who's this? Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I did not.
I got a bit of a headache today. You're going to have to deal with me. We need to get this over with so I can go lay down. Whoa.
Okay. What, you have a pre-celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
I wish it was that, but no, man. I have these episodes every now and then. Let's start off today's show with medical talk with Erica and Mark on the mandatory medical phone call. I don't know. So I've had these episodes where sometimes I pass out, I get really dizzy, and I get vertigo, and I pass out. I guess I have these crystals in my ears, and I was sitting there watching TV, eating lunch, and I was like, oh, my head, oh, I'm getting dizzy. Oh, God, now the whole room is spinning.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
Yeah, so I got to put my food over here because now I'm going to be sick and can't eat that anymore. And I have to kind of flip my head around and do these little exercises they taught me, and that kind of helps it. But then for the rest of the afternoon, I feel kind of drained and kind of like crap, like I do now.
All right. So tell me now, what is this thing now? Crystals. What kind of crystals? Like the kind you put around your house for good luck?
No, like the little
crystal meth?
No, like the little cheeseburgers, Mark. What do you think? I got cheeseburgers.
Oh, okay, small cheeseburgers. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because you got to have them put somewhere in case, they're pocket size.
Right.
They're so easy to carry around.
And they're delicious, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Oh, my God. That's like one of the only fast food burgers that I will eat as a crystal burger. But no onions. Why does everybody insist on putting fucking onions on everything? Just stop it.
But the crystal burger with the onion and the pickle is a combo, man.
Make all that optional. So I'm here to save you millions of dollars, Crystal. Make everything optional. You want a crystal, you get a beef patty and you get a little bun thing with it. And after that, you just build it. Build it however you want it. You want ketchup? Fine. You want mustard? Cool.
Is that like build it, they will come?
Yes, I just saved Crystal's business model. If they can hear this, I just want a couple of. Honestly, I go to Crystal for the chili cheese pups. Have you ever had those little chili dogs?
Yes, I've had those too.
Oh my God, Mark! I have driven hours out of my way just to eat two of those, and I
haven't been to one since I left Mississippi, and that's because since I no longer drink. That was like a drinking.
Oh
food.
yeah.
Most people think that the place to go is the after 2:00 menu at Jack in the Box or Waffle House or Taco Bell. None of those are winners.
I can tell you the first time that I ever went to a Waffle House and not drunk was when my daughter was in college in Gainesville. She and her boyfriend broke up and she was having a bad night. So I drove up to Brooksville at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday and sat there with her until 3 a.m. at the frickin' Waffle House while she cried, and we had terrible Waffle House food and witnessed weird things. It's true what they say about the Waffle House, man. There's weird things happen in the Waffle House after the sun goes down. I assume even when the sun goes up, weird things happen in there.
Well, in most places, in Florida, I remember the Waffle House was strictly for, that was after the bar closed.
Yes, Macon too.
So a lot of fights, a lot of shootings, all kinds of crap go on there. Those people do not know how to act right.
You never staggered over to the Waffle House after being at Rivalries on Cherry or at the Rookery?
No, I would always hit the drive-through.
Okay, that's the best way to not be drunk. Drunk drive my car over to the Crystal. That's a good idea. See, I would stagger over to the Waffle House, or I would eat a big greasy cheeseburger at the Rookery, and then I'd be fine.
Yeah, there's the grease. Something about, I don't know what it is about grease and alcohol, but man, it just kills your belly out.
Oh man, those freaking cheeseburgers they used to have at the what was it, the Rookery that Chris used to make us. Oh, Chris, rest in peace, Chris.
That was a shame, man. The guy was still so young.
Nicest guy. He was younger than us.
Was in his 30s when we were, right? Or no, was he even younger than that when he took it over?
No, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe he was kind of between you and me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
still relatively young.
Yeah, he was probably 30-ish, and then not long after we left, he got killed in a car crash in his classic Mustang.
Oh,
I know.
Is that place still available? Or still around?
Last time I was in town, yeah, I ate there. The last I had the chicken sandwich.
Used the same name and everything, huh?
Yeah, it was still good. I had to pay though. It was the first time I think I ever paid there, which was strange.
That was always weird.
It was always free every time we went there. Everything's free. Yeah. Just tip the waitress.
That's the one thing I noticed when I retired from radio. That was the first thing I really noticed. Man, I have an expensive taste that I never paid for.
My God, Mark, it took me 10 years to start buying concert tickets after I left radio because I just couldn't do it. I'm like, why are concert tickets so expensive? People pay this much? Oh, my God.
I remember thinking to myself, and I go, I'm not going to be that guy that calls up the general manager or the market manager and tries to work them for concert tickets after I resigned or quit.
So Jeff Davis used to send me Lyle Lovett tickets every year. I didn't have to ask him. He would just send them to me. He knew that I wanted to see Lyle, and he would just send them to me. Yeah. He was a great guy. For years, he did that.
A lot of those record guys, man, I don't know if they're still the same way, but because I don't know how the business works anymore, but they were really I think they were more loyal to the people they liked than they were the companies or the stations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Gina Davis and I still talk Gina Suarez and I still talk all the time. She lives in Brooklyn. She's doing great.
I haven't seen or talked to her since I left Cumulus the first time back in the 90s.
Oh,
she came by. She was on her way I think she was on her way back to Atlanta, or she was on her way from Atlanta and coming through to go towards Texas and stopped by my little station there in Columbus, Starkville.
Oh, that's nice.
And had lunch. Yeah, she was such a sweetie.
Gina is still a sweetie. She is my musical soulmate. We will send each other like strange album cuts, or she'll text me a picture. She texted me a picture of her not too long ago. She was going to see Deftones, and I was like, "Oh wow, you son of a bitch!"
Is she still good looking?
Yeah, absolutely. She is well into her 60s. She looks the same as she ever did. She's still gorgeous, still to this day.
Wow,
I know. And she's so nice, and she was going through some stuff, I don't know, 6 months or so ago, and called me, and she said, "Hey, you still like Frank Zappa?" And I said, "Yeah, I love Frank Zappa. You sent me a Frank Zappa T-shirt that is one of my most cherished possessions from when something you stole from when you were working at Ryko Desk." He's like, "Oh, I got all these Japanese import Zappa CDs. I'll send them to you. Give me your address."
Wow.
Sent me a whole stack of, just recently, sent me a whole stack of unopened Frank Zappa Japanese import CDs that I need to get put into a frame because they're just gorgeous artwork. But she's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even thought about her in a long time.
She is the first record rep I ever met in 1989 at Z106.
Really?
Yep. She was standing next to Scott Chase, who is 6'7", and Gina is about 4'9".
Yeah.
She's like barely came up to Scott's belt, and Scott's like, "Huh? What are you doing here? Huh? It was very funny.
So did crappy radio PD? What's it called?
Shitty Radio Jock on Instagram.
Yeah. Has he ever put anything up about PDs that took advantage of or try to take advantage of record reps?
He was gonna do that. Let me check. Let's see. Let's go to
because I remember when there was a guy named Universe or something like that, right? Dave Universe or Universal. Wasn't his name Dave that got in trouble?
I don't remember.
Like he's the one that brought the record reps would do all kinds of stuff. And this guy ended up at the 50-yard line of the Super Bowl or something. Or
hey, look, man.
Throwing the first pitch at a World Series. Look, somehow he managed to score something
I don't
huge.
want to say nothing about things, but I had my fair share of trips to New York and L.A. that record companies paid for. I mean, but, it wasn't quid pro quo, if you know what that means.
I knew a guy that everything that the station got to be for giveaways became his. And when I went to his house one time, he was a PD. I went to his house, and we were supposed to give away a jukebox.
Oh, wow.
Filled with whatever records that were out at the time.
Let me guess. He had a jukebox in his house when you went over there.
Yes. And tons of gold records. You would have thought he was a musician.
I wish I'd kept some of my gold records. I just left them all.
I didn't keep one.
I didn't keep any of them either. None of them.
No.
I had a ton of them. Nathan had a bunch of them. Nathan kept his. He stole all of his and took them home.
Yeah, it's like, no, I never, I thought I should have kept something.
I know, me too. I really wish I would have kept just any of them.
But I had some really good memories. Like Jeff, one time, I don't know if you remember when he used to take us to the ball games, the baseball games.
All the time.
We'd go see the Braves play, and he would buy us a beer or two and hot dogs.
Oh, he was the best. Jeff,
what's a Braves game?
Jeff had the Lyle Lovett shows at Chastain down to a science. So he would say, all right, I got it all planned. We're going to start at Leslie Fram's house. Here's the address. And Leslie Fram was the PD and the morning show host of 99X in Atlanta.
Remember.
And Leslie lived like right by Chastain. So you could park at Leslie's house and walk to Chastain from there. So there's no having to worry about parking. And Jeff would have us a table right in front of the stage. And at Chastain, you could bring coolers and your own food and your own drinks. So we would all just bring a cooler. We're, hiking up the road carrying these freaking igloo coolers. And Jeff had this homemade cocktail sauce that he would make. And then somebody else would bring a bunch of big fat shrimp. And somebody else would bring, chips, whatever. We would have all this food on this table, pre-gaming for Lyle Lovett right in front of the stage. And then when Lyle comes on, doesn't matter if you haven't finished eating. Everybody else is eating you can hear like clink, clink, people ordering stuff during the show, which I thought was weird for the artist.
Yeah.
We all tried to be really quiet when Lyle was on stage because he was 8 feet away from us.
Right.
But
he doesn't need to see what you're chewing on.
No, I mean the band has got to be sitting there. I'm like, what the hell is going on at this place? Oh yeah, this is the place that's also a giant restaurant. I forgot. Yeah. But I still have my table from there. It's right next to me here on my computer desk. I had to buy this wooden table because we just didn't have one, and we had a bunch of food, and they sell these tables. So I bought this little wooden table for like $20. Still have it, and every time I look at it, I think, oh, Chastain, what a great place to see a show.
I've never seen a show there.
You're kidding.
No.
Small natural amphitheater. It's kind of like going down a hill, and it's like a mini teeny tiny version of a not as dramatic Red Rocks, but it's all green with grass and trees.
Right.
Just a gorgeous place to see a show. And that was where I met Julia Roberts' mother. I got to be friends with Julia Roberts' mother. Every year I would see her, and she'd be like, hey, you're funny. Come on over. She was nuts. I never met Julia Roberts, just her mother. I guess Julia was there. I never saw her, but her mother was always at the Lyle Lovett shows. I think Jeff actually introduced me to her. And,
that's wild.
She was really, really funny, man. She was my Lyle buddy for a while.
Yeah, I never seen a show in Chastain. I've seen, of course, the old Coca-Cola Lakewood Amphitheater and the Fox, the fabulous Fox.
How many times did we see the Allman Brothers at the amphitheater and the Fox?
Yeah.
Did you go to Pearl Jam? No, you didn't have Pearl Jam tickets, did you?
No, I didn't get to go to Pearl Jam.
Trade and Tim tried to give me like $7,000 or something for my Pearl Jam tickets, and I wouldn't do it.
But I wasn't a really big fan of Pearl Jam, but I did end up seeing them. I saw them when I was over at Cumulus in Tupelo, and I went to see him in Memphis, and the Screaming Trees opened. Then Days of the New came on, and then it was Pearl Jam. It was a great show.
Oh, Pearl Jam was
and the old Memphis Pyramid. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, well it was it's like the Luxor in Vegas, right?
Yeah, it was actually it was where the basketball team used to play. Now it's like a what do you call that? What is the name of that thing?
It's like a
redneck shop? Disney World. No, it's like a redneck Disney World.
Oh, it's a Bass Pro Shop.
And Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop. Yep, I do remember that. Memphis, you didn't die. Good for you.
No, I've been to Memphis quite a bit and survived. I've seen all kinds of people in Memphis. I like Memphis.
I've never been to Memphis.
I like Memphis. It is dangerous. You got to know where you're going. It's like anywhere else where all it takes is one wrong turn.
Yeah, if you see a sign that says "Welcome to Arkansas," you're in West Memphis. You don't want to be there.
No. Yes, that's really bad. Yes.
I know that for a fact. Yeah,
Memphis is used to be in the top 5 of murders and stuff too at one time.
I'm still shocked you'd never been to Chastain. You never went to Leslie Fram's house or anything. Anytime there was a show at Chastain, it was go to Leslie's house because
I'd never been to Chastain. You guys remember you also when Nathan, especially when Nathan was still there, you guys would go a lot, and I did not get to go because I was the married one. Remember,
that's true.
With kids and everything, so I didn't go a lot of places because I couldn't be trusted when I was unsupervised.
I forgot about that. Yeah. In the meantime, you got Nathan, the 40-year-old virgin.
Yes, I know.
That's exactly what he was.
Did he ever get married?
I don't think so, no. But I remember the first time that Alan Sneed took him to the Gold Club or somewhere in Atlanta. It's like I took him to a strip club in Atlanta.
Right.
And his eyes got so big that Alan Sneed started calling him the Fly because his eyes were so big, like a fly. And then Nathan didn't want to call it why strip club because that was a little risque for him, so he called it shoe modeling.
I thought he called it burlesque.
No, shoe modeling because that's all the girls wore were shoes.
Okay.
I went to shoe modeling. I thought they was calling me to Fly. And I'm like, okay, settle down, Fly.
I miss him, man. He was a sweet man.
He was.
He was a nice guy.
He still is. I talked to him. God, I probably haven't talked to him since last summer. I should give him a call. Just say hi. We should call him on this show. No, then this show will be an hour and a half long if we do that. We don't want to do that.
We have to figure out how to talk to some of these people that we talk about. Yeah. There's so many people out there that he may remember things differently than we do.
I am sure he remembers things that we don't remember because Nathan never drank or did smoke.
I know.
Or never did any. Guy's sober as a judge. And then there's, the rest of us like, woo, how are we out of weed already? Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh.
I miss the 90s. I'm one of those people. I miss the 90s so much.
Hey, what's your call on Public Image Limited?
I mean,
there's a reason for this.
A money grab by Malcolm, I guess, and Johnny Rotten.
Oh, you didn't think it was any good?
I think it's all right, but no.
Oh, okay, then. I want to ask you then.
Well, no, ask me.
Well, no, they're coming to, they're touring next year, next year.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about going to, they're playing in St. Pete, but they're also playing at the Ranch, that big, used to be a Harley Davidson dealership, the big one, that's now a bar.
Where, in St. Pete?
Right there in Fort Myers.
Oh, yeah, I don't know where that is.
It's, and I was going to go there because they're playing in Houston, but
I will go with you if you
that's
can.
That's not Kathleen's thing.
If you can name one Public Image Limited song, I will go with you.
Let me see. Rise.
That's not it. That's not
a song.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. Fat Chance Hotel.
I don't know that one.
Or Fat Chance Motel, or maybe it's Fat Chance Motel. Seattle.
I don't know that one.
Is Everybody Happy? It's actually called Happy with a question mark.
I don't know any of these.
Yeah, they're all good.
All right, fine. If you want to go, I will go, just so I can say
Seattle
that I saw Johnny Rotten. Let me.
I just don't. I was what I'm afraid because she said you're gonna have to find somebody to go with, and I was like, I don't have no friends up here at all. And the ones I do are not going to appreciate this.
Yeah, I got no PIL in my iTunes, which is not hard for me to believe.
But I saw they're playing down there. I said, man, I could drive in one day and go see it, and I won't be gone too long because I already drive to Gainesville every time I travel, and then you just add a couple of more hours and you're down that way.
All right, here are the top songs according to Apple Music. Order of Death, Rise, This Is Not a Love Song, Seattle.
Yeah, that's a pretty good song.
Disappointed, Swan Lake, Home.
Disappointed, that's a good one too, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Disappointed at you people.
I missed all of these. I don't know.
That's what friends are for.
Now
to being disappointed. And then he also did the instrumental to the Blair Witch.
Really?
Oh, it's wicked. It's spooky. Yeah, it's for the Blair. Remember their Blair Witch? What's it called? The Blair Witch Project.
I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed myself at that movie because I know how to allow myself to be entertained. Everybody's like, "Oh, this movie sucks. It's just a bunch of nothing for 2 hours," and then it's there's 30 seconds of silliness, and then the movie's over.
Well, you know me, how scared I get about everything. So it scared the crap out of me.
Scared the hell out of me, too. I saw it at Sarasota.
I bought into it. I thought it was true.
Yeah,
this was before reality shows.
Right.
You know?
This was the first viral kind of a thing around a movie. Ooh, speaking of movies, you know the new Steven Spielberg movie is coming out.
I saw the coming attractions. It was a 2-hour-long commercial. And it was good. It was, not 2 hour long, sorry, 2 minute long commercial.
I was going to say, I don't remember it being 2 hours. But yeah, there's 3 trailers that are out now. And some people on Reddit are saying they think that it might be a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Really?
That's what they're saying. But I don't know. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be a totally unique thing, or maybe it even, I don't even want it to take place in the same universe as Close Encounters. Like Richard Dreyfuss shows up at the end of the movie and gets out of the thing, hasn't aged, he's still wearing his red jumpsuit. I don't want it to end
that
like
that. For Steven Spielberg, it looks kind of creepy.
Oh, it looks super creepy. I
didn't know he could do that kind of stuff.
I think Spielberg knows a lot more than he lets on. Matter of fact, let's take a break. Let me pull up a website, and I'm going to tell you a little story about what Steven Spielberg may or may not know because of Richard Nixon.
Oh.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
All right, we are back. We have Age of Disclosure, the new Spielberg movie coming out. Is it May or June? It's can't come out soon enough for me. So Steven Spielberg directs it, and if you've seen the trailers are excellent. And I've gone so far as to do a deep dive as to watch YouTube videos of people breaking down the trailer and what they think it means, and then I read about other stuff on Reddit of what they think it means, and. You know how they had all the animals, like there were a bunch of deer or elk kind of walking toward the cabin out there in the dark. And then there was 3 of them standing in the kitchen, and then birds landing on this little girl. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
So what some of these people are saying on Reddit is those are the aliens. And that's just how the aliens want us to see them, so that we don't see them as a threat, as these big, scary, gray, big-eyed things.
Wow.
But anyway, Spielberg. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind, we've all seen it. We know what it's about. But it was allegedly, and I want to stress allegedly, based on an incident that took place at Holloman Air Force Base in 1964. Do you know where Holloman is?
No.
New Mexico. I know. So, okay, this took place in 1960. I have a friend of mine who was stationed there that you and I both know, whose name we're not going to say. And he didn't tell me any of this, but you and I both know this person who was stationed there, who did tell me some stories about what he heard about things that had happened there in the past. But apparently in 1964, that was where Close Encounters happened for real, only it wasn't as big and as majestic with, fancy lights and keyboard, light shows from the keyboard player from Yes, there was none of that. It was literally a scheduled landing of a craft, and these 2 non-human entities got out of this craft and met with the officials at Holloman Air Force Base. It's been a lot of conjecture about who was there. Some people say that President Johnson was there. Some people say that, the whole thing started with Eisenhower back in the 50s, and it kind of led up to this moment. But the other story that we've heard is that Richard Nixon was ready to basically give disclosure about all the non-human entities and UFOs that everybody was saying. Nixon was ready to do that in the early 70s. And there was this new hot director in California named Steven Spielberg. And he had just directed a movie called Duel with Dennis Weaver. Do you remember Duel?
Seen that one, yeah.
That's Spielberg's
that was him too.
That's Spielberg's first movie.
Oh, well, then he does have it in him. That was a weird movie,
That's a great movie. It's literally, on paper, you were like, I'm not going to watch a movie with Dennis Weaver who says 7 lines in the whole movie about this guy in a red Dodge Dart getting chased by a freaking 1956 Kenworth gas truck. Who would watch that?
Yeah, exactly.
Through the desert in California. It sounds stupid. It's one of the most tense movies, suspenseful things I've ever seen in my life.
It's very suspenseful.
I own it, is how much I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. But anyway, Nixon, do you know about Nixon and Jackie Gleason?
No.
You don't know about that? So Nixon and Jackie Gleason were hanging out one night, and speculation is they'd had a couple of drinks. And Nixon kind of came clean to Jackie Gleason about the whole thing because Jackie asked him about it. You know, Jackie was like, hey, so what's the story with all these aliens there, Mr. President? And he said, I'm going to take you someplace and show you. So the rumor is that they hopped on an airplane and went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, where they keep some of this stuff. And he showed Jackie Gleason some of these non-human craft that they were trying to reverse engineer. And he said, now, Jackie, you can't tell anyone about this. And Jackie is like, oh, no, Mr. President. So the story is, and I don't know if this story is true, but the story is it really affected Jackie Gleason a lot. It kind of made him depressed, and it really fucked with his worldview. You know, because if you see something like that and realize that you're, you know, one step above an ant, when you think you're this all-powerful human being with a, you know, and you, I mean, it would affect, I think it would affect it would shake a lot of religious people's faith. It would shake it or destroy it when you realize that maybe these things are God and maybe these things created us. But anyway, it seems to have affected Jackie Gleason so much that he built a house down in Florida that was shaped like a UFO. It was a big circular house with lights on the side of it.
Well, I remember it. Yeah, it was in Inverary.
Yeah. Well, he apparently built that. He was inspired to build that based on what he saw on that trip he couldn't talk about with Richard Nixon. But anyway, back to Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, I think, was given a lot more information than anybody realizes about what's really going on. He was told about what happened at Holloman. He was told about what's been happening since then, and that they wanted him to make a documentary about the entire thing that would introduce the non-human intelligences to the world. And then somebody at the Pentagon found out about it and said, Mr. President, put a stop to that right now and make him sign a thing that says we can throw him in prison if he ever breathes a word of this. We're not doing this, Mr. President. Well, I'm the president. You can't tell me what to... Yes, we can, Mr. President. We're not doing this. Shut it down. And that's what happened. It just got shut down. But Spielberg took some of what he had that he could do, and that's how we got Close Encounters.
Huh.
I know, because, I mean, damn. So now I'm wondering if Age of Disclosure, because what better way to distract from Trump's war that we don't even hear about on the news, which nobody seems to think is weird. Like the top story on the news last night was thunderstorms across the East Coast. Not about we're at war with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is shut off and nobody can get oil. That's barely or not even on the news. You don't find that weird at all? Well,
yeah, very weird.
Eventually that's going to creep back into the news when things start to go bad on either side. And when it does, the only thing to keep Epstein and the Iran war off of the front page is going to be to what? When that movie comes out, they're going to say, well, Spielberg has released the truth.
Like magicians, you know, it's like nothing up my sleeve. Keep an eye on this hand over here. As I'm over here in your pocket.
Right. I mean, these are all wishful thoughts that I've had. And I don't know if they're going to come true, but certainly not out of the realm of possibility with what's been going on in this crazy world in the last year.
Oh, they got to do something. So, it's getting close, even biblically, we're getting close to the end. Do you want me to blow your mind a little bit, Mark? Are you ready? So, I don't think you're ready for what I'm about to tell you. Let's take a break. That?
Let's take a break because you need to prepare for what I'm going to tell you about what all this may actually be about and the possibility that we are not where we are.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
All right, I know you're going to tell me that I've gone down too many rabbit holes, and I'm not going to disagree with you. And I'm also here to tell you that I'm not sure I believe any of this, but these are just some new theories that I've heard lately that make you go, huh. So am I basically a flat earther now, but not that far? Or am I like a sovereign citizen? Because I sound like a sovereign citizen when I say the things I'm about to say to you. All right, so we as humans are very good at one thing, and we're very good at relating the human experience and all of human history, all of our history and all of our potential into our own bubble of existence and time that we have experienced. Right. It's perfectly natural for us to compare everything that's happened in the past to what we know that have happened during our tiny little bubble of lifetime.
Yeah, we're always judging today on some things that we heard from the past.
Right, but and
comparing it to this time.
Right, and everybody's like, oh, things are crazier now than they've ever been. And I like to try to have a little perspective about it. And I like to say to those people, well, let's think about the 1930s in America. America was becoming isolationist. America had a naval blockade on Japan because Japan was getting a little too frisky in the Pacific, trying to take over more little island nations, and they were at war with China, and the economy was still recovering from the Great Depression 10 years ago. Hitler was marching all over Europe, and nobody really knew what to do. All we knew was America doesn't want any part of the war that's going on over there in Europe. We want nothing to do with it because isolationist. And then the war happens, and when Pearl Harbor gets bombed and the war happens, and now we're at war, there's no more new cars, there's rationing of everything. Right. You have to think about that. Think about if you have 4 kids in the 1940s and your kids are all teenagers or in their early 20s. Well, if they're boys, they're signing up to go to the war. Like, they've gone from, being in high school or working on the farm to getting drafted and going off to fight, and a lot of them they never saw again. And meanwhile, back at home, you can't buy fuel except on certain days. You can't buy food. There's rationing of food. You're lucky to get cheese every now. And these are people who have money. The government's coming around collecting your silverware and copper and different metals. So all the automobile plants have been converted to making fighter planes and tanks and jeeps. You can't tell me that what we're going through right now, while it is weird, even compares to something like that. I mean, it had to be terrifying.
Oh, I imagine it was. I mean, my grandfather grew up at that time. He was a kid, and he told me some stories and stuff. Yeah. And fortunately, my grandmother had plenty to eat because she lived on a farm, but they had to give food away because they couldn't keep it long enough to store it.
Right.
Besides being the right thing to do, but the fact is they just had to go down and find people to give food to because they had too much. But they didn't have anything. But she had shoes that she had papers laid inside her shoes so she could walk.
Right.
They had no, they were worn out. So it's like, but I get. I mean, it's we always have things going pretty well and then screw it up somehow.
Well, all right. Well,
a lot of it's greed and everything else. So.
Well, here's what I'm going to do to blow your mind. Are you sitting down? You are, as I can see in the camera, you are sitting down.
Yes.
All right. So this is where I start to sound like a flat earther or a sovereign citizen crazy person. Okay. And I don't necessarily believe this. I just want you to consider this possibility that of how much we've all been manipulated and lied to over the decades and the last 150, 200 years. So if you believe history, mankind pretty much lived the same from the time of when your buddy Jesus was born 2,100 years ago or whenever it was until about 1860. And people's lifespans were in their early 30s. People would just die of old age or die of something in their early to mid 30s. That's just the way it was. We didn't have a whole lot of medicines. But after 1860, people suddenly started living longer with the advent of medicine, and medical technology started to happen. And then we got electricity around the turn of the century, around 1900. And more medical knowledge was being experimented with and, I guess you could say, advanced. And then by 1969, we allegedly landed some guys on the moon. So from 1860 around the time of the American Civil War, when everybody's lifespan was in their 30s, and people would just go to bed when the sun went down because you didn't have electricity. You just lived your life eating completely clean foods. There were no preservatives. Think about this. There's no preservatives. Everybody is nobody's tainted by the pharmaceutical industry. The only thing they really have to worry about is pollution. They don't have pollution controls for all the smoke and all the cows farting.
Right.
But people are still dying very young. But somehow, from the time that the Wright brothers flew a plane in, 1914 or 16? It was right before World War II. From the time the Wright brothers flew a plane until we landed on the moon, that was about 50 years. Well, think about the last 50 years from right now. 50 years ago was when?
The 70s.
Right. It was freaking Saturday Night Fever was 50 years ago. How much have we progressed since Saturday Night Fever? We've progressed a lot. And if you think about those 50 years from 1977 back to 1927, we progressed just an extraordinarily huge amount. In around 1950 is when we started seeing plastics. We saw transistors. We saw computers that kind of were in their infancy. And that has blown into us having these miracle device phones that we hold in our hand that we can just talk to somebody like George Jetson and have access to all the information in the history of the world in our hand that talks to space. And that brings me to my point that makes me sound like a crazy person is, do you really think Jesus was 2,000 years ago? Or is that something that was concocted by maybe the British when, because you don't see any real history. If you go back and look at it, it's very sparse. History is very sparse from the time that Jesus died up until, the Spanish conquistadors. It's all it's pretty sketchy during the Dark Ages and, from the Bronze Age to the Dark Ages. Where's the missing history? Why don't we have a whole lot from that? Is it because nobody kept any records because things were kind of fucked up? Or is it because it didn't happen and we're only a couple of hundred years since Jesus was allegedly around? What's that do for your brain? Do you think it's possible that society could be manipulated in such a huge manner?
Well, they're being manipulated at the school and all that.
Everyone, dude, history is written by the victors. That's all that is.
I was going to say they've been lying and changing things forever.
Right.
Forever.
Right.
So but I can't.
How do you feel? Well, hold on. How do you feel about the lost books of the Bible? How do you feel about those?
I think they're legitimate.
Do you really?
Yeah, just like I know that the oldest Bible is the Ethiopian Bible, and that's got a lot of that stuff in there. They didn't take that stuff out.
Do you know about the Ethiopian Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant's been around. That's biblical.
Yeah. That is apparently a real story that they are still in possession of.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people didn't know where it went to, and some people thought that the Catholics had it buried.
Yeah, they might.
Because they all, and I don't know exactly what that is, because it seems to me like that could be almost something what we would consider space. Back then they just said heavens.
There might be more than one ark.
Just like I think there's you have to be silly to think that they had these 10,000 slaves building pyramids.
Those pyramids are probably tens of thousands of years old.
And then they got on a boat and floated over to the Americas and put a couple over here and then float over to South America.
Yeah, and China. And dude, I mean, nobody has been really in the Amazon rainforest. God knows what's hiding underneath all that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because that's protected. And then the stuff that's above the North Pole.
Oh, and let's not even talk about Antarctica. And there's so much weirdness Did you know that there are areas of the Grand Canyon that you can't go to? Do you know about that?
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, you told me that last week. Yeah.
Allegedly, because there's a Stargate.
And actually, they were talking about that on Rogan the other day. I saw
really?
Somebody on, and they were talking about that too. Yeah.
Maybe Rogan's listening to us.
It was I forget the guy that was there. You know the guy that I don't know what he calls himself now because he got himself in trouble. But he was the guy that had the goldfish that was kind of a smart aleck.
Oh, yeah, AJ from the Y-Files.
Yeah, because he doesn't go by the Y-Files anymore, and he was actually
he does.
Rogan's...
No, he's still doing that.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he just.
I thought maybe I get him confused. Somebody that was like similar to him got in trouble for something.
Oh, he definitely got in trouble. He had some YouTube yanked a bunch of his stuff down. So he had to put everything up on Discord because he doesn't say nice things about the American government sometimes, and they have issues with that. Something of like evil experiments the CIA allegedly does, and he talked about all that stuff, and then that stuff's just gone. And something else about him, he disappeared from my algorithm in my YouTube because I've been watching that guy for years, and YouTube should normally suggest.
They always deplatform people.
They are totally fucking with him. But if
it's on both sides of the aisle too, because it's ridiculous to think that they think that one person has a commodity on. No, it's whoever's in charge at the time can tell you what to get rid of.
Right.
So, but no, I don't think you're crazy because it's. Somebody told me a long time ago. It was like I was at a church retreat type thing, and they said to me, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to figure this one problem out. I think it had something to do with with either my marriage or my kids or something. Back. This is when I was struggling before I actually got myself into CR and therapy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I don't want to waste God's time because I'm having trouble with my marriage when I was just as guilty."
Look, man, God's a busy guy. You can't bother him with these
and that's what
things.
I said. I don't want to go on with nonsense stuff.
You don't want to diminish God with these things.
And then he said to me, he goes, boy, you really don't think very highly of him, do you? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you just think that he's just not capable. You believe he made the earth? I said, yeah. I said, but he doesn't have time to do your thing too? And it's like, and when I heard that thing, it's like, so I started thinking to myself, like, all these things that we wonder, is it true or not? Like aliens and other areas. All I know is...
Nobody knows nothing is all you know.
I saw something on YouTube one time. It was a pastor that's also a scientist. And his whole thing was, when you watch the 20-minute program, you find out that this is you, like making a little small thing.
Yeah, right? a little speck.
This is Earth.
Yeah, a little bit bigger speck.
And compared to all this. And he showed, we like, our sun is unbelievable. It warms up everything. It's one of the smallest suns that we know of.
Yeah.
We
all live in our little bubble, and we all have... Everything is relative. You really think that you're something,
and it's like, this is so important, and it's like, it all boils down to no. It's really not.
No, it's not.
Take your lumps. The Serenity Prayer says it. It says like you got to take the world as it is and not as you would have it.
Right.
And that's the end of it. And understand that hardships are a pathway to peace. In other words, in order to have full peace and serenity, you're going to have some hardships to get there.
Or you say serenity now, like George's dad did at Seinfeld.
Well, you remember how he said serenity now, and then he would tear things up.
Yes.
He put it backwards. He said hardship is peace.
I support everything that George's dad did on Seinfeld.
That was hilarious.
Jerry Stiller is the funniest man ever.
Every time I see him seen him, I think he's passed now, but he was even on Kevin James's show.
Oh, he's great in The King of Queens.
Anything he showed up on, he was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yep.
He just made it whatever they were funny. He just I don't know if you wanted him on your show because he would take he would take over your show.
Steal every scene he was in. Yeah.
Oh, that guy was incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was really like in real life, but man, oh man, he was everything I've ever seen him on was
you know who his son is, right?
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah. Ben Stiller. A lot of people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, think about it.
And it was Stiller back if you watch the old, like in the 60s and 70s when they have all those, back in the 60s and 70s, probably way before your time of watching TV, unless your parents watched it, like that's where I picked up mine. Everyone was allowed to have a TV show. Like if you had a hit record, they would give you a TV show for the summer.
Yeah, Glenn
and they would
Campbell.
have these like variety hours. And these people would make them money. And one of them was Stiller. It was Stiller.
Well, it was Jerry Stiller and his wife.
Yeah, well, whatever her name. Yeah, Stillman Varnes or something like that. They were a vaudevillian comedy team that made it to radio and then transferred to. So they were hilarious together.
Yes.
Hilarious. Natural and they would every so while they would show up in the 70s or 80s, like on the Love Boat or something, together, and they would do their shtick. And all they were doing was vaudeville shtick, but it was hilarious because their timing was incredible. They knew exactly how to take a line, and knew exactly how to exaggerate it to make it even funnier than what it was written.
See, and this is where we have it over the aliens, because the aliens, I don't think the aliens can do that. I don't think they're funny at all. I
don't think they have a sense of humor.
No, I don't think they do. They wouldn't understand Jerry Stiller one bit.
So when this movie comes out, I guess we'll find out. I don't know if I want to watch it out because I'm kind of scared.
It's just a movie, Mark.
I know that, but I don't like scary movies, man.
Go to a daytime show. Then it'll be sunny when you come outside, and it'll be fine.
Well, okay, here's how scared I am.
Oh, boy.
You ready?
Yeah.
This will make you laugh. Ask me, what did you think when you saw Close Encounters?
Mark, I have a quick question before we end this. So what did you think when you saw Close Encounters back in 1977?
I didn't go.
What? Do you know how many?
I've never seen that movie.
You have no idea how great. I couldn't tell you how many times I saw that movie in a theater when I was 10 years old. I had the poster hanging in my bedroom. I still have that poster folded up.
Is this the one where the kid or somebody is building something with mashed potatoes?
Yes, that's Richard Dreyfuss.
I've seen scenes from it then, yeah.
All right, I want you to watch.
And then the railroad closings were going up and down.
I want you to watch this movie.
I need to watch that movie because if I'm going to go see the other one, I have to see this one.
Let's see. You're not going to go see this one. The new one's going to be too scary for you.
I'll tell you, that 2-minute promo, I was like, oh. Put it to you this way. I stopped watching Stranger Things. Like, I didn't see the finals.
Yeah.
The final 4 or whatever that is. I didn't even watch any of them because it was like, that last one was too spooky.
I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes of the final season of Stranger Things, and I was falling asleep, so I never finished it. I need to skip ahead and watch the last.
Everyone said that it was boring.
It is boring.
But somebody had a really good idea what to do with that thing.
What?
Since everybody was grown, to come back and do one like 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And what it would be is they're playing Dungeons and Dragons on the prom night. And they find out it was all just a game.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, as the things are closing,
yeah, something shows up.
Like you see a little crack in a wall, and that's how it ends.
This sounds like a bad episode of Doctor Who. So you know that Stranger Things is based on a alleged government cover-up, like a real thing, right?
I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that there probably are creatures and weird things from other places that we have possession of.
So AJ,
and we're beyond stupid.
Yes.
Of trying and sometimes you take somebody's kid, eventually the parents are going to come get them.
I mean, all right. So we're all very naive. We understand that. But okay, so what this is based on quickly is AJ did a whole story about this on the Y-Files. That's why it's based on the Montauk Project. It's a conspiracy theory. It alleges the government did some experiments in time travel, and that's what led to the Philadelphia experiment. Are you familiar with that? With the battleship that disappeared and turned up in 1984? And then came back and all the sailors are fused into the deck and the walls. Yeah, well, so that was one of the Montauk projects. Another one is pretty much the plot of Stranger Things. And another thing that they may have done there, allegedly, is they're the ones responsible for all these ticks giving everybody Lyme disease. That was an experiment that got out by accident. That's all alleged. That's another one of those things that happened out there on, I think it was on Long Island, where they were running this whole thing. They had mind control, psychic research going on out there. They were trying to open up a portal, and it turned into, an episode of Stranger Things. They were doing all kinds of bad stuff out there before they closed it down.
Well, even, everybody should know by now, you don't open up places that you don't belong.
That is good advice, but that brings me to something that I'm going to let you research between now and next week. And it is one of the biggest things that nobody talks about that I bet you haven't researched. Are you? Do you have a pen?
I'm writing.
I want you to look up Large Hadron Collider Conspiracy. Hadron.
Is that the one that they're doing over there? Is
France,
that the one they're doing over there in somewhere over in Europe?
Europe, yeah. Do you know how?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Do you know how?
I've heard that they did. I've heard they've already cracked.
Do you know how big it is?
Yeah, it's like the size of a city, isn't it?
It's bigger than that. It is a 17-mile circular tunnel that goes. It's deep underground, underneath Switzerland, just a little corner of France and Geneva. So it's apparently they're smashing particles into each other to try and create, basically antimatter and they've done it, and they've made it exist for a fraction of a second, which is a start. But other people think that might be another one of those stargates where interdimensional beings are coming and going from.
Well, they were saying that's how because it would take of course, if you had something really super fast, or you didn't have to worry about defying gravity and all that, you can move faster. But that's how their people are coming. That's how aliens and stuff are coming in and out of where you see them and you don't.
I can't think of the
lady's
name.
Hit it and then they go. I've seen something about that before.
So apparently, this whole thing may have totally screwed up reality. Allegedly, it may have screwed up reality. I'm trying to find this lady's name.
Well, they always tell you that if you ever get in a time machine, you don't go back and change things.
No, I mean, you
leave things alone.
Now, if I were going to go back in time, there's maybe one thing that I would do but nobody would see me doing it, so I think I might get away with it.
Gotcha.
You know what I would do?
I think I have an idea.
I would kill the Pilgrims. I'd sink all of their ships, because we don't need that kind of negativity coming here. They allegedly came to the new land to seek religious freedom. Well, do you know why they were being religiously persecuted in England?
Yeah, they were angry.
They're fucking lunatics, is why. They're crazy.
They were angry. Yeah. They were
angry
stuff.
They were angry because nobody would let them be lunatics. That's why. They came
they
here.
They wanted to do their own thing. Yeah,
right.
They were religious people are like
religious fanatics. That's what they are.
They're not good people. They're not. That's not the right.
No.
That was never meant to be that way. That's them.
I was watching Wednesday, the show on Netflix about the Adam, like Wednesday Addams, which is a very good show, by the way. And it was Halloween or something, and Wednesday's all dark and sarcastic, and they were having some kind of parade, and these three guys come into a cafe, and they're all dressed up like pilgrims, and Wednesday's sitting there minding her own business, and they come up and start messing with her, and she just says, "Why are you three dressed like religious fanatics?" And I was like, "Oh my God, she's so right."
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was what they were doing was ridiculous. I mean, what we don't even know. Like if you had an autistic kid, or you were mentally, you had a mental issue, you would just get killed.
Like I'm saying,
because they thought you were possessed by some kind of demon.
Are you going to give me shit for wanting to sink their ships?
But
or are you going to look the other way? It's that's not the worst idea.
I think if you did, I did think if we did that, then we wouldn't be here.
I think we would still be here, but
you think so?
I think attitudes in this country would certainly be very different than what they are right now. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, any group, get a couple of people in a group, it automatically gets ruined. I mean, I say the same thing. I always talk. My wife thinks I'm crazy because I said, once you add two people to a group, it's already ruined for somebody. Yeah. Somebody's leading, someone's following, and a follower's like, oh, good Lord. Here
the Power Pig. Yeah, Power Pig used to have a sweeper that said 1 out of 7 people are clinically insane. If it's not your 6 friends you're with, then it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually heard that at a church one time where the guy said, everyone has that uncle or that aunt that's annoying, and everyone's trying to avoid it. Go through the whole thing, and then they go, "Oh, and if you don't have one, then you are that person."
It's
that's annoying the crap out of everybody.
That's right. Well, I want you to research the Large Hadron Collider conspiracies during the week. And we'll talk about that next week because there's some interesting shit that may or may not be going on there. And it seems awfully strange that they would build something that expensive. It's the largest machine ever built by man. And it's one of the most expensive things ever built.
What are they saying the benefit is to it?
That's just it. I can't find a clear thing.
I was going to say, do they have a benefit, or do they just say, none of your business and nothing to see here?
Research is what I have found. It's for research.
That's everyone's favorite word. Research.
Energy research and research, all the things. And it's kind of strange. They spent that much money and built something that big underneath 3 different countries.
Yeah, I know.
For research.
You should not be opening up any portals at all. Period.
So there are some things that there are some people who say that, we've all kind of, the whole shift happened when they fired up the Large Hadron Collider. And that's where we're all getting these moments of deja vu, and it's like, wait a minute, and what the hell's the thing called where you're like, no, Fruit of the Loom had grapes.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the name of that? Oh,
I know what you're talking about. I call it gaslighting by the government. Because it did have it.
Gaslighting by the government. Because the Fruit of the Loom guys had the purple grapes, and it was the Berenstain Bears, not the Bearstain Bears. It was...
it's there's little nuances like that make you feel like you're nuts.
Well, apparently, the Large Hadron Collider may have fucked that up for all of us.
I think so.
So... just do a little research.
Well, think about it. If the government's trying to get down to the New World Order, this is going to get us kicked off now. If the government's with my craziness, here's where I take the tinfoil hat now. Uh-huh. If the government's trying to put together the New World Order, the single digital currency, you will obey, and we're going to turn your car off when you've driven enough.
They can already do that.
All that stuff. I know if they want to get us all in like that, that's, you got to start somewhere. You can't just start by just doing it, because the people will revolt. There's too many people that live in the South that have guns.
Right, but if and
they'll put up a good fight. They may not win, but they'll put up a fight.
But if you drive all of their pickup trucks into trees, then they can't fight back.
So it's like, but I think I think that all that stuff is all part of it. It's just it's all driving us towards the and it's all because they want something. You should see some of that stuff that's coming out of Epstein stuff there, with the emails that are going around, or some guy that's on the internet that got these emails, these files, went through them and pulling individual emails out. Mm-hmm. And it's like the things they were working on, like why was Epstein floating money to this guy? Because he's trying to figure out how we can remove people. It's like they don't want a lot of people on this planet. They really want as little as possible, and they want to be able to boss them around.
So,
let's face it. If they did a new world government, right? No matter who's president, they're Democrat or Republican,
right?
No matter who's in charge, okay? Are they going to follow the same rules as us? Heck no, they never do.
Not. Why would they?
They never do. There's slush funds in Washington for people to get DUIs and for sexual harassment lawsuits.
It's a pretty good deal. You
and I won't get that break. We just got to go pay our DUI fees and go to jail and everything else. It's just ridiculous. They're just ridiculous. They're not. So they're not our friends at all.
So about this apparently widespread false conspiracy theory that involves Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell and Anthony Bourdain, right?
Yeah.
That they were working on this documentary exposing basically what Epstein was doing.
Same with Chester, whatever his name was. It was all part of it.
Chester Bennington, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what you said.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That none of these guys were showing any signs of depression and being in danger of committing suicide, and yet they did.
Well, some of their music was kind of depressing. But that's usually
Anthony Bourdain was not. He was traveling the world having a good time.
They just write out their feelings, and that's like therapy.
Right.
So yeah, and then they'll finish a show and then go and hang yourself.
I'm not saying that actually happened, but I can see that's one of those where there's smoke stories, and
there's too many people disappear for when they have something to say.
Yeah.
And if they do come back, they come back looking really weird.
The only thing that I can tell you, Mark, is I'm glad no one listens to this podcast except
me
for
too.
my friend Kim, my friend Chris, and my sister Missy. And that's and occasionally your son, who thinks you should let me talk more, and I agree.
Yes. I can vouch for my son. He is not an alien. He was actually born in America.
I can vouch the same for my daughter.
Even though he's half Mexican.
My daughter
I don't know about your friends. How about your friends? Can you vouch for them?
No. I can only vouch for my daughter, who has blonde hair and blue eyes, just like me and her mother.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I can tell you. I don't know anybody else. I don't know what anybody else is doing.
Nope. Well, I think we overstayed our welcome.
Yeah, I'm starting to have regrets about buying that electric car now that can drive itself. Shit. Shouldn't have done that. I should be.
Well, just put it out there right now. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I got a little bit of a headache.
Even in your most depressing time, like when you don't feel very well.
I haven't had one of those depressing times for years. I've been. I figured it out some years ago, I think, and I'm glad.
Oh yeah, you did some good work in therapy.
I did. It took some time and some things, and I got it done. And
I'm night and day from where I was.
Me too.
10 years ago. So I'm not. If you hear me going bye, something's wrong.
The thing that Tony Bennett wishes he could have said to Amy Winehouse was a quote that still sticks with me. I say it to as many people as I can that are having problems, and it's the best motivational thing I've ever heard for somebody having problems. And that line is, he just said, "Boy, I sure wish she was around to tell her that life teaches you how to live it if you stick around long enough."
Wow, that's good. That's true.
The most profound thing I've ever heard.
You're going to have issues, and that's okay, because whatever you come out of it, you're going to feel better about it. You're going to understand it. Oh, I can't do that again because that causes that.
If you do the work.
Or I can't hang around with that kind of person because this is what happens.
Hey, what's wrong with my life? Well, let me change that. So what do I have to do to change that? Well, you have to stop doing that and hanging around that. Oh, but I like that. Well, that's too bad. You can't do it. Go find something else.
You got two choices.
Yeah.
Sit in your crap or get out.
Right. That's, you know what? Tony Bennett said it way better than you.
Yeah, I know.
But I understand yours. All right,
I'll see you later.
We're going to leave on your joke today.
Erica and Mark.
First time.
Yes.
The phone call.